From the misty dawn of the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms to the modern digital age, the British monarchy has stood as a central pillar of the nation's identity. This is the story of the kings and queens who have worn the crown, a tale of conquest, faith, revolution, and reform. Join us as we journey through over 1,000 years of British history, exploring the lives of the monarchs who shaped a kingdom. Our story begins with Aethelstan, grandson of Alfred the Great. Reigning from 925 to 939, he is widely regarded as the first king of England. Through military prowess, particularly at the pivotal Battle of Brunanburh, he unified the various Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, forging a single, cohesive English state. His reign laid the very foundation of the nation. The Anglo-Saxon line was abruptly severed in 1066. At the Battle of Hastings, William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, defeated King Harold Godwinson. Crowned on Christmas Day, William I introduced Norman French culture, feudalism, and a new aristocracy. His Doomsday Book, a comprehensive survey of his new kingdom, was an unprecedented act of administration, cementing his control and reshaping English society forever. In 1154, the crown passed to the Plantagenets. Beginning with Henry II, a man of immense energy, Henry's empire stretched from Scotland to the Pyrenees. His most lasting legacy was the establishment of English common law, creating a unified legal system that remains influential worldwide. His reign, however, was marred by conflict with the Church, culminating in the infamous murder of his friend, Archbishop Thomas Becket. His son, Richard I, the Lionheart, spent most of his reign on crusade, becoming a legendary warrior, but leaving England's governance to others. It was Richard's brother, John, who would leave a more profound, if notorious, mark. Faced with a baronial revolt against his tyrannical rule and heavy taxes, King John was forced to seal Magna Carta at Runnymede in 1215. This Great Charter, though initially a failure, established the principle that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law. The Plantagenet era was defined by war, particularly the 100 Years' War against France, famously marked by Henry V's incredible victory at Agincourt in 1415. But internal strife was never far away. The late 15th century saw the Wars of the Roses, a brutal civil war between two Plantagenet branches, the House of Lancaster and the House of York. The conflict ended in 1485 at the Battle of Bosworth Field, where Henry Tudor defeated Richard III, the last Plantagenet king. With Henry VII's victory, the Tudor dynasty was born. A shrewd and fiscally prudent ruler, he stabilized the kingdom and its finances after decades of war. But it was his son, Henry VIII, who would irrevocably alter the course of British history. His desperate quest for a male heir led him to break with the Roman Catholic Church, establishing the Church of England with the monarch at its head. This act of religious revolution, the English Reformation, allowed him to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and Marianne Boleyn, the first of his 6 wives. Henry's children each ruled in turn. The brief reign of the Protestant Edward VI was followed by the Catholic Mary I, whose attempts to reverse the Reformation earned her the name Bloody Mary. Then, in 1558, came Elizabeth I. Her long, 45-year reign is considered a golden age. She navigated religious turmoil with her middle way, fostered an era of exploration led by figures like Sir Francis Drake, and oversaw a cultural flourishing that gave us William Shakespeare. Her defining moments came in 1588 with the defeat of the Spanish Armada, securing England's independence and Protestant future. The childless Elizabeth was succeeded by her cousin, James VI of Scotland, who became James I of England, uniting the Scottish and English crowns in 1603 and ushering in the Stuart dynasty. James commissioned the King James Version of the Bible, a masterpiece of English prose. However, his belief in the divine right of kings clashed with an increasingly assertive Parliament. This conflict exploded under his son, Charles I's refusal to compromise with Parliament over power and religion led to the English Civil War. The war divided the nation and ended with the unthinkable, the trial and execution of the king in 1649. For a decade, Britain became a republic under Oliver Cromwell, but the monarchy was restored in 1660 with the charismatic Charles II, the Merry Monarch. His brother, James II, a Catholic, was not so popular. Fear of a Catholic dynasty led to the Glorious Revolution of 1688. Parliament invited the Protestant William of Orange and his wife Mary, James's daughter, to take the throne. This event was pivotal. It led to the Bill of Rights in 1689, which limited the monarch's power and affirmed Parliament's supremacy, laying the groundwork for a constitutional monarchy. The Stuart line ended with Queen Anne, under whom the Act of Union in 1707 formally joined the kingdoms of England and Scotland to create Great Britain. The throne then passed to our distant German cousin, George I of the House of Hanover. Unfamiliar with British customs and language, George I relied heavily on his ministers, giving rise to the role of the first de facto Prime Minister, Robert Walpole. The Hanoverian era saw Britain's global influence expand. George III's long reign witnessed both triumph and disaster. While Britain defeated France in the 7 Years' War, becoming the dominant colonial power, it also lost its American colonies in the War of Independence. His reign was also marked by the Industrial Revolution, which began to transform Britain from a rural, agricultural society into the world's first industrial powerhouse. In 1837, his granddaughter Victoria ascended the throne, beginning an era that would bear her name. Her 63-year reign saw Britain at the zenith of its power. The British Empire covered a quarter of the globe, and technological innovation, from railways to the telegraph, reshaped the world. Victoria and her beloved husband, Prince Albert, embodied ideals of duty, family, and propriety that defined the age. Victoria's death in 1901 marked the end of an era. Her son, Edward VII, brought a new style to the monarchy. He was succeeded by George V, who, amidst the anti-German sentiment of the First World War, changed the family name from the German Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to the distinctly British Windsor in 1917. The Windsor dynasty faced its first great crisis in 1936. Edward VIII abdicated the throne to less than a year to marry Wallis Simpson, a divorced American socialite, a choice deemed incompatible with his role as king. His younger brother, George VI, reluctantly took the crown. Alongside his wife, Queen Elizabeth, he became a symbol of stoic resilience, most notably by remaining in London during the Blitz of the Second World War. Upon his death in 1952, his daughter became Queen Elizabeth II. Her reign, the longest in British history, spanned an extraordinary period of social, technological, and political change. She oversaw the transition from empire to Commonwealth, engaged with 15 British prime ministers, and became a constant, reassuring figure of stability for over 70 years. Her unwavering dedication to public service earned her immense respect and affection both at home and across the world. Today, the crown is worn by her son, King Charles III. The modern monarchy has evolved from a position of absolute power to a constitutional and symbolic role. It serves as a focus for national identity, unity, and pride, while championing public service and continuity. From Aethelstan's unification to the global stage of the 21st century, the story of the British monarchy is the story of a nation in constant evolution, a golden thread running through the rich and complex tapestry of British history. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found this history compelling, please like this video and subscribe for more explorations into our shared past.